Hey, greetings, innerwealth champions. You're checked in with Ameer and Naseer. Before we get started with today's video, family, I wish you all inner wealth, which we know is the overall state of our holistic health, family. And so, today's video will be a philosophical one in regards to our health, but also one that is objective. And so today's video will be about how both healing and disease start and end in the mind, okay? And so I do want to start with healing. So if you can conceive any thought of healing, it could be pertaining to any area of health. It could be your emotional health, your psychological health. It could be your physical health. It could be your sexual health, whatever area of health it is. Even traumas. It could be childhood traumas. It could be young adulthood traumas. It could be occupational trauma. The list goes on with the experiences that we endure when we're here navigating Earth. And so it is important to understand that healing is our birthright. It was not the Creator's intent for us to live a life of pain, of suffering, of trauma. Anyone preaching that gospel to you is leading you astray. You are not damned. You do not come here broken. You do not come here a sinner. You do not come here needing fixing, right? You come here whole. What happens is, as we continue to navigate this lifetime, there are many programs and systems that are put in place to distract us and to separate us from our true selves, our pure selves, right? Our whole selves and our divine selves, to separate us from our pure essence, our true essence, and our divine essence. And so these programs, they are organized in vast arrays in areas of life, whether it's politics, whether it's education, whether it's finances, whether it's media and entertainment, right? Whether it's housing, the list goes on, but you have different systems and programs that start when we're young, right? And so this programming over the course of our matriculation and evolution from, childhood to young adulthood and even beyond, right? Depending on the context, there's a lot of social engineering that occurs. There's a lot of social programming that occurs. There's a lot of even cultural engineering and cultural programming, right? What is culture, right? One should really reflect and define for his or herself what is culture, what is mainstream culture within the context of one's country. If you're in South Africa, maybe you want to define or think about what does it mean? What does South African culture mean? If you're in America, maybe you want to consider what is American culture. And then within the mainstream cultures of these, countries or larger body, larger geographic regions, what are the subcultures, right? Is the mainstream culture a social construct? Are the subcultures a social construct? Just really diving deep into the different systems and how they engage in propaganda and psychological manipulation and psychological and social engineering of many sorts to again distract us from what truly matters in life. First and foremost, distract us from the creator of all life forms, God who reigns in the most high heavens, but also reigns within us, right? So distract us from our connection with God, distract us from our connection with ourselves, and distract us from our connection with who we truly are, right? And so as these programs and systems are implemented, as they are executed, what happens is this creates dysfunction, right? And so at any stage in life, healing is our birthright. We were sent here to live an abundant life, to enjoy a physical experience that we were gifted with by the Creator, to work collaboratively, collectively, in unity. There are too many intelligent people on earth, too many people on earth who are intelligent, right? For us to have a class of have and have-nots, to have people who are healthy or not healthy, right? And then the list goes on with those different contexts and comparisons, right? And so I say this because it is unfortunate that we have arrived at a moment in time where one's healing and one's health and even one pursuing optimal health and healing is really a revolutionary act in a world that constantly pumps out slow genocide, slow suicide, degeneration, whether it's physical degeneration, spiritual degeneration, neurodegeneration, anything that is degenerative in regards to our health. This is being pushed out at excessive speeds right now at this moment in time. And so I do want to, before I go too far off on a tangent, refocus in on healing and disease starting and ending in the mind. So healing starts in the mind. If you can think it and you can conceive it psychologically and mentally, that means it is in your arm's reach to attach to this healing, right? To receive this healing. If in your mind you can conceive that you are able and you are worthy and you deserve and you're capable of healing from such traumas, let's be very specific here. I would do an example such as a childhood trauma, right? If you conceive in your mind that you're worthy of healing from that childhood trauma, guess what will happen? You will heal because you are determined. And once you've made up in your mind that you are worthy of that healing and that you will receive that healing, the Creator will present to you and you will receive everything that is needed for you to access that healing because you've done the internal work to receive what's rightfully yours. Let's take another example. Someone who may have been diagnosed with cancer. If you can conceive in your mind that you are healed, that you will be healed from cancer, that you will be healed from the inflammation, from tumor growth, and that your body will reverse any accumulation of cancerous cells or abnormal cells, you will heal because you've decided and made up in your mind that you are, one, worthy of healing, number two, that you will heal, and number three, you have encompassed the courage, the commitment, the determination, right? And so again, because you've demonstrated these acts, right, universally, there's universal law where you now rightfully have access to this healing information that you are now able to receive from the Creator. Because again, what did you do? You've done the internal work to align yourself with what's rightfully yours, which is healing, right? And so another important thing to note is that disease also starts in the mind. If you consistently tell yourself you're not worthy, if you consistently tell yourself that, you're a failure or you won't amount to anything, or you consistently tell yourself that you can't do something, or you tell yourself, it's over, or you can't come back from something, or you just inflict disease on yourself. You say that you have different diseases. You say, oh, I have inflammation. Oh, I have all of these other, health issues, then yes, because you've spoken it, because you've conceived it in your mind, and because you repeat it to yourself, guess what happens? That comes into fruition because there's power in your tongue, and there's life and death in the power of the tongue. And so you want to use your tongue to speak life over yourself as opposed to death over yourself. And that's where healing and disease start and end in the mind. Now, healing can end in the mind if you decide to then transmute that healing energy into a disease state, right? Into states of consciousness that aligns with disease. Think pathogenesis. This is an area of health that studies the origins of disease. But if you think salutogenesis, this is an area of health that focuses on healing, health promotion, and health promoting activities, right? And so again, whatever you conceive in your mind, this is what will come into fruition, right? Because everything is unseen first. So because you've conceived it in your mind, that is an unseen phenomenon. That is a spiritual phenomenon because you have made a decision in your mind, psychologically and spiritually, that you are going to heal. So what happens next is, because you have that spiritual foundation and base, now the physical expression is to follow. So someone who shows physical attributes of healing and growing and evolution, this means that internally, spiritually, and psychologically, this person is doing the work. They are healing from inner wounds from childhood, inner wounds from young adulthood. They're healing from abuse, whether it was neglect, whether it was physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, manipulative abuse, whatever it is. This person has committed to healing and freeing him or herself from those traumatic experiences internally first, spiritually first, and mentally first. And so once that occurs, the physical follows, because the physical is the second phase to what occurs internally. So you first have to internally redesign yourself to get the physical outcome that you are worthy of, that you deserve, which is why my entire movement, my entire purpose in this lifetime, I will always promote inner wealth, because there's nothing greater than the wealth that we already possess inside, that we come here with. All of our answers, all of the answers to our deepest questions already reside within our spirit, within our DNA, our genetic code that we come here wired with, that God has, oh, excuse me, that God has wired into us before pushing us through our mother's wombs, right? And so it is important to understand that this is a phenomenon, that the real wealth is within. The real wealth is your health. The real wealth is that inner fulfillment and inner satisfaction, is internal validation. It is not external validation. The moment we go outside of self, we have lost. We have lost. We have lost the moment we go outside of ourselves. Internal validation. The only validation we will ever need is from God and ourselves. We don't need validation from the world. And I can also articulate, of course, this walk is not for everyone. You know, the world consistently, at every which angle or corner or turn, tries to manipulate one into conforming. And this is especially true for those who have pure souls, who have excellent head on their shoulders, who are steadfast in their philosophies, their convictions, their purpose, who have strong knowledge of self. These people are targets for the manipulative tactics of the world and of the demonic world, and demonic energies that have that live amongst us, and that dwell within the earth, right? However, we must remember and understand and know that we are light. And so with that light, being a carrier of light, a bearer of light, right? A model of light, being a visualization of light, it is important to stay the course. Be grounded spiritually, because everything in this lifetime is spiritual and psychological. It will always go back to spiritual and psychological origins, right? That's all this is here. It's spiritual and psychological warfare. It's a spiritual and psychological journey, right? And so mastering both of those and becoming an expert in those arenas and grounding oneself internally will help one on this journey, because it is not easy for those who are pure, who will not bend, right? Who will not compromise, who will not conform to the ways of this world, who will not look back, who will keep moving forward, who will not return to doors that have been closed, right? And so again, I just really want to emphasize the importance of one's psychological state and states of consciousness and ability to access higher thought, because one's ability to access higher thought, higher states of consciousness, and one's ability to maintain security in his or her spirit and psychological processes is one that is able to exude, receive, and experience true healing while in this physical body on earth. We are here for a quick moment in time. This lifetime, when you think about it, even someone who lives a long life, 100 years goes by quick. We're here for a quick moment in time, a quick second. So in this physical body, we must use it to fulfill our purpose here on earth, be the light that God has called us to be, and we must continue to remain steadfast in our journeys, not bend, right? Do not conform, and stay true to oneself, stay true to one's purpose and calling, in the context of what the Creator has called us to do. And again, understand that if you can conceive it mentally and psychologically, then you can experience it in the physical, right? So we're more powerful than we think when we align ourselves and we ground ourselves and we're in tune with God and ourselves. And also simply understanding the laws of nature. We simply observe God's creation, and we simply observe nature. We simply observe natural cycles, right? This we also can learn and do learn a lot from natural cycles and phenomena on earth, even animals, right? These creatures on earth. We can learn and do learn a lot from them as well, and how they engage with each other, how they collaborate, how they travel with each other, how they love each other, right? So we have reached a moment in time where human nature has honestly de-evolved. Human nature is at a moment in time that needs those who will reverse the current moral state, spiritual state, and psychological state of this earth, right? And it will be reversed. It's happening, right? Because Mother Earth knows best harmony. Mother Earth knows best tranquility, peace, the natural order of life, the natural order of things, natural cycles of things. Everything we experience in the spiritual and physical is cyclical. Everything has a start and an end. While we may experience infinite life, everything is still cyclical. Everything happens on its own timing without our interference. So if there's anything that you receive from me today in today's video, I just want you to understand healing is your birthright. You are deserving of healing. You are worthy of healing. And there's no need to explain. There's no need to ask for permission. There's no need to dim your light or dim yourself. You are worthy of healing. You deserve it. It is your birthright. You have access to it at any time, at any moment in your life. You have access to it today, at the moment you're watching this video, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, because as long as you can conceive the art and the act of healing in your mind, everything else then flows, right? Everything else just flows from the unseen to the physical to push you towards your highest self, to push you towards the optimal man or woman, right? Because as men, we are the divine masculine expression of God, and women are the divine feminine expression of God. And so it is important to understand that God not only reigns within the heavens above, but also reigns within us internally. Heaven is a state of being as well, and we can internally experience heaven in this physical body when we take care of our spirit and we prioritize healing prior to our transition back home, right? And so I just hope today's video was received well. And again, if there's nothing else you receive from today's video, I just hope that you understand and you receive that healing is your birthright, as long as you choose to conceive it in your mind. That's it today, Innerwealth Champions. Much love, much respect. I appreciate you all for checking in with me, Ameer Naseer. Until next time, Innerwealth Champions, I wish you all inner wealth, which we know is the overall state of our holistic health family. Peace.